Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. We are diving into AI and HR today.
Sounds fun.
It is. I know a lot of you out there in podcast land are interested in this, too.
For sure.
We're looking specifically at the EU's new AI Act and what that could mean for hiring in the future.
Yeah, big changes.
Huge changes. I've got some amazing material here you sent over, including this HRO Today interview with Daniel Grace.
He's great.
Yeah, an international HR expert. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, some of this stuff is intense.
Definitely brings up a lot of questions.
Right, especially if you're working in HR, you might be thinking, wait, is my job about to become obsolete?
Right.
But before we spiral, let's break it down a bit. What's this AI Act all about?
Well, the core of it is that it labels AI-powered recruiting tools as high risk.
High risk. Whoa.
Yeah, so that means...
So if I'm using some kind of program to go through applications, I need to be extra careful.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
We're talking about like those algorithms that scan resumes for keywords or even those AI chatbots that conduct those first-round interviews.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
You apply for a job and suddenly you're chatting with a bot. It's a little weird.
Yeah, for sure.
But what makes them so risky in the eyes of the EU?
Well, the EU is concerned these tools could lead to unfair or discriminatory hiring practices, even if that wasn't the intention.
So even if you think you're being objective, the AI could be picking up on biases you didn't even realize were there.
Precisely.
That's scary.
Yeah, and that's why this act is putting such a strong emphasis on human oversight in any AI-driven hiring process.
Okay.
They're basically saying, look, AI can be helpful, but a human needs to be in the loop making sure things are fair.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But the EU is not messing around with the consequences.
Right.
I read something about huge fines for companies that don't comply.
Yeah. We're not talking about a parking ticket here.
No.
We're talking up to 7% of a company's global revenue.
Wow.
Or a flat 35 million euros, whichever is higher.
Okay, so big money.
Big money.
Potentially even criminal charges in some cases.
Yeah, it's serious stuff.
Yikes. Talk about a wake-up call. Sounds like the EU is serious about setting a precedent here.
That's right. And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Grace believes this could have a ripple effect globally.
Okay.
Remember GDPR, the data privacy regulation?
GDPR.
Yeah.
Rings a bell.
He thinks the AI Act could be just as impactful, with countries like the US and UK potentially following suit.
GDPR, wasn't that the one where suddenly everyone had to update their privacy policies and get consent for cookies on their website?
That's the one.
Yeah, I remember that.
And just like GDPR aimed to create a consistent standard for data privacy, Grace believes this act could pave the way for a global framework for AI in hiring.
So we could be looking at a future where there's a universal set of rules for how AI can be used in hiring, no matter where you are in the world.
It's definitely a possibility.
Wow.
And this brings us back to the core of what Grace is advocating for, building what he calls AI literacy within organizations.
AI literacy, what does that even mean? Do I need to learn how to code now?
No, not necessarily. It's more about understanding how AI works, its limitations, and how it can be used responsibly and effectively.
Right.
Especially in a sensitive area like hiring.
Okay, so it's less about being a tech whiz and more about being able to have an intelligent conversation about AI's role in your field.
Exactly.
That feels a lot less intimidating.
Yeah.
So Grace argues that this kind of AI literacy is crucial for promoting diversity, reducing bias, and creating a more efficient and transparent hiring process overall.
So it's about understanding AI enough to ask the right questions, like, is this tool really helping us make fair decisions, or is it just automating our existing biases?
Precisely.
Okay.
And that's a great segue into something Grace talked about that I found really insightful.
Okay.
He doesn't believe AI is the villain here.
Really? After all this talk of hefty fines and potential risks, AI is actually a good guy.
Well, more like a helpful sidekick.
Think of it like this AI can take over some of the more tedious, time-consuming tasks in HR.
So if AI is the sidekick, are HR professionals like the superheroes of the business world?
Oh, you got it.
Okay.
Think about it. AI could handle things like sifting through resumes, scheduling interviews, maybe even writing those initial job descriptions.
Right.
And that frees up HR professionals to focus on what they do best, connecting with people.
Makes a lot of sense. It's like AI could be that super efficient assistant handling all the paperwork so HR can focus on the human side of things, like building relationships with candidates and really understanding their skills and potential.
Exactly.
I like it.
But even with the sidekick, you need to choose wisely, right?
Right.
Grace emphasizes that not all AI software is created equal.
Okay, so what should companies be looking for when they're choosing an AI tool for HR?
Grace says it's crucial to ask some tough questions.
Hmm.
Does the software comply with all the regulations? Is it transparent in how it makes decisions? Are there built-in measures to mitigate bias?
Wow, those are some really important points.
Yeah.
So it's not just about picking the coolest, most advanced AI. It's about finding tools
Yeah.
that are ethical and aligned with your values as a company.
Absolutely. And that brings up another key point that Grace makes.
We've talked about AI as this helpful sidekick, but I got to admit,
Uh-huh.
there's still a part of me that's nervous
I get it.
about, those headlines you see, robots are taking our jobs?
Yeah.
Is that really something HR professionals need to worry about?
It's understandable to feel that way. The idea of machines replacing humans
Right,
is a scary thought.
for sure.
But Grace offers a different perspective.
Hmm.
He sees AI more as a tool to augment human capabilities,
Okay.
not eliminate them.
So instead of humans versus machines,
Right.
it's more like humans with machines.
Exactly.
We're working together, not against each other.
Think of it as a collaboration.
Right.
AI can handle those repetitive, data-heavy tasks,
Right.
the things that can really bog us down and drain our energy.
Uh,
But that frees up human workers to focus on the things AI can't replicate. Creativity, critical thinking,
yeah.
emotional intelligence, building relationships.
It's like let the AI crunch the numbers and schedule the meetings so that HR can focus on the human element, like understanding what motivates people, creating a positive work environment.
Yeah,
All those things that make a company thrive.
that's a great way to put it, but there's a catch.
Okay.
And Grace is very clear about this. We can't just unleash AI into the workplace and hope for the best.
Right.
He stresses the importance of continuous monitoring and regulation to make sure it's operating ethically.
Right. Because AI is only as good as the data it's trained on and the people who are designing and implementing it.
Exactly. We can't just set it and forget it.
Yeah.
We need to be vigilant, making sure AI is serving humanity,
Right.
not the other way around. It's a powerful tool, and with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Makes a lot of sense. We need to be mindful of the potential pitfalls while also embracing the possibilities at a delicate balance.
It is, and this is where the concept of responsible AI comes in.
Okay.
It's about designing and using AI systems in a way that aligns with human values and societal goals.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but the intentions behind it and the impact it has on people and society as a whole.
Precisely. We need to consider the ethical implications at every stage of the AI lifecycle, from the data used to train these systems to the decisions they make, and we need to constantly be asking those critical questions. Is this fair? Is this transparent? Is this truly serving the greater good?
It sounds like we need a whole new set of ethical guidelines for this AI age, like the robot rules or something.
Huh. Maybe. But seriously, this isn't just a job for policymakers and tech companies. We all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
So what can we as individuals do to make sure this AI revolution leads to a more just and equitable future, especially in the workplace?
Well, first and foremost, we need to educate ourselves about AI. Learn about its capabilities, its limitations, and its potential impact. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to challenge assumptions, to demand transparency.
It's about becoming informed citizens of this new technological landscape. Like,
Right.
you wouldn't buy a car without understanding how to drive it right.
Exactly. And in the same way, we need to understand AI well enough to be able to steer it in the right direction. We need to engage in thoughtful conversations about the ethical implications and advocate for policies that promote responsible AI development and use.
So it's about being informed, being vocal, and being proactive in shaping the future of AI.
Absolutely. And Grace emphasizes another key point that I think is particularly relevant for anyone working in HR adaptability.
Oh, here we go again with the robots are taking our jobs anxiety.
No, it's not about that. It's about recognizing that the world of work is changing, and we need to be prepared to evolve along with it.
Right.
And that might mean learning new skills, embracing new technologies, and being open to new ways of thinking about work itself.
So it's not just about keeping up with the machines, but about finding ways to leverage their capabilities to our advantage.
Exactly. And that requires a shift in mindset. We need to move away from seeing AI as a threat and start seeing it as an opportunity to unlock human potential in ways we never thought possible.
I like that it's not about being replaced. It's about being empowered. Like, imagine if AI could help us identify hidden talent that might have been overlooked by traditional hiring methods, or if it could create personalized career paths for employees based on their skills and interests.
Exactly. Those are the kinds of possibilities that AI opens up.
So this whole conversation has been pretty eye-opening.
Yeah.
We've talked about the EU AI Act, the potential for global impact,
Hmm.
the anxiety about job displacement, the need for responsible AI development. What's the big takeaway here?
Yeah.
What should our listeners be thinking about as they navigate this rapidly evolving landscape?
The key takeaway, I think, is that we're not passive bystanders in this technological revolution.
Okay.
We have the power to shape the future of AI, especially in a field as human-centric as HR.
So we need to be asking ourselves, what kind of future do we want to create with AI? And how can we ensure that it aligns with our values and aspirations?
Exactly. Those are the big questions we all need to be grappling with.
As we wrap up this deep dive into AI in HR,
Hmm.
it strikes me that we've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
talked about potential risks, ethical guidelines,
Right.
even touched on some of those fears people have about AI taking over.
Right.
But listening to you talk about AI as this collaborative sidekick, it's really shifted my perspective.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the hype and the fear-mongering around AI.
Right.
But I think if we approach it thoughtfully, it really has the potential to enhance our lives.
Totally. And speaking of approaching things thoughtfully, you mentioned adaptability earlier.
Uh-huh.
I think that's something worth exploring a bit more.
Okay.
It's not just about keeping our skills up to date, is it?
No, you're right. It goes beyond just acquiring new technical skills.
Okay.
It's really about cultivating a mindset
Uh-huh.
of continuous learning and a willingness to embrace new ways of thinking.
So being open to change, being curious about new technologies, being willing to step outside our comfort zones.
Precisely, think of it as developing what we might call AI fluency.
AI fluency.
Yeah.
I like that.
The ability to understand, communicate, and collaborate with AI systems effectively.
AI fluency. It's like we need to learn the language of AI.
Yeah.
Not just in a technical sense, but in terms of understanding its logic, its limitations, its impact on our lives.
Exactly. And this fluency needs to extend beyond the tech industry.
Okay.
And to all sectors of society, we need AI fluent educators, policymakers, healthcare professionals, artists, you name it.
It's like we're all going to be interacting with AI in some capacity, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah.
So it's not just about training a new generation of AI specialists. It's about equipping everyone with the knowledge and skills to navigate this AI-powered future.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, we all need to be able to have these intelligent conversations about AI's role in our respective fields.
Absolutely. It's about democratizing AI knowledge and empowering everyone to participate in shaping this technological revolution.
This brings up a really important question, though.
Yeah.
If we're all going to be interacting with AI,
Uh-huh.
how can we ensure that those interactions are fair, equitable, and truly beneficial to everyone?
That's a crucial question, and it brings us back to what we've been talking about with responsible AI development.
Right.
We need to make sure that these AI systems are designed and deployed in a way that reflects our shared values and promotes social good. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about the ethical framework
Right.
that guides its development and use.
So it's about being intentional, asking those tough questions, and making sure that AI is serving humanity, not the other way around.
Exactly. We need to be mindful of the potential biases that can creep into AI systems, especially in areas like hiring, where fairness and equity are paramount.
Yeah, for sure.
And we need to hold ourselves and each other accountable for creating and using AI in a way that benefits everyone.
This conversation has been so insightful.
It's been fun.
It has. You've really helped me understand the nuances of AI and HR, and I think our listeners will feel the same way. But before we go, I have one final question for you.
Okay, shoot.
What can our listeners do as individuals to help ensure that this AI revolution leads us towards a more just and equitable future?
That's a great question. For starters, educate yourselves about AI.
Okay.
Read articles, listen to podcasts, attend workshops.
Right.
The more you understand about AI, its capabilities, and its limitations, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this changing world. And don't be afraid to engage in those tough conversations.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends, family, and colleagues about the ethical implications of AI. Advocate for policy